All right, what is up? What is going on? I didn't even want to title this video, and the reason why I didn't want to title it because I wanted it to come out as I started pulling. All right, so we're gonna see what this energy is holding. All right, we're getting ready to see what this energy is holding. I feel like home. All right, so real quick, let's see what's going on in this energy. All right, this is going to be a short video. If you are interested in purchasing, all right, my information will be in the description. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and post it to the chat as well while I'm waiting for a few minutes. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. I just drinking my cup. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna post my information in the chat. I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. Tonight I'm gonna fuck something up. All right. Somebody's dog is barking like a motherfucker. No, your dead granny is. Your dead granny is. No, your dead granny is. Your dead granny is. I feel like falling in love. All right, let's see what is going on in this energy. I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. All right, straight off the top. Let me tell you something. If you thought that I gave a fuck about you making racial comments towards me, I don't. I don't care nothing about that shit. You gotta try that shit on somebody, on a weak motherfucker who don't know who they are. All right? You got to try that shit on a weak bitch. All right? Jezebel is here. All right? Jezebel, faith, and leadership. All right? So somebody, I'm hearing somebody was following a whore. Somebody was following a Jezebel. Somebody was being manipulated. All right? Somebody was allowing a Jezebel to be their goddamn leader. Well, damn, I didn't think this shit was gonna come out like this. Somebody was allowing a Jezebel energy to give them some sort of advice, all right? Imagine a whore giving you relationship advice. The fuck out of here. Imagine somebody who don't love themselves giving you some sort of relationship. advice. Somebody is in deep regret at this time. There's a tower moment happening. All right, somebody found out something horrible when it comes to someone. Somebody tried to guide somebody away from a divine feminine. All right, somebody was obsessed with trying to make somebody see you in a different fucking light. And the whole time, you never gave a fuck. That's the crazy shit. You never gave a fuck. All right? All right. Partnership. This is somebody that somebody could have been in a relationship with. All right. Somebody is finding out some surprising information. All right. That's a rapid change. All right, so somebody is finding out some fucked up shit, that the shit's so fucked up that it's a rapid change. All right, somebody was trying to manipulate somebody. Somebody was using a gift. Somebody was using their gift in the wrong ways to manipulate somebody. All right, and they're dissatisfied with the outcome. So again, somebody was following a whore. All right, somebody who was in a south node. All right, somebody was being manipulated by somebody who was in a south node. All right. Romance charm. All right, I heard sex magic is significant. Reliability. Somebody wanted somebody to rely on them. Somebody wanted somebody to be codependent on them so they couldn't break free of a situation. But God said, oh, hell no, we're not doing this again. All right, money is here. This bitch just wanted money. All right, Spirit said, oh, hell no. Look, somebody wanted somebody to be in a karmic energy. Somebody wanted a masculine to be in karmic energy. All right, so this person, this goofy bitch, was basically wanting this masculine to be codependent on them. So, oh, if I get you codependent on me, if you're needing me, then I'm gonna make sure that shit don't work out for you. And God said, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna show you something. So somebody thought that it was doing something, but it ended up working in the other person's favor. All right, skill development. Somebody was still thinking about you. All right, and this was leaving somebody emotionally, mentally fucked up. All right, betrayed. Somebody feel like they betrayed you. All right, new beginning is here, all because of a child. All right, so the news is that somebody found out something about a child. All right, somebody tried to stop somebody from moving on. All right, when it comes to children. All right, rising stars. Somebody didn't want somebody to rise above the bullshit, and now somebody is concerned because somebody is leaving them out in the cold. Somebody is leaving them out in the cold because this bitch don't know who her baby daddy is. So this masculine is being set free from abuse, mental abuse, from a karmic feminine. All right, this could leave this bitch in the hospital. I heard car accident. All right, this person tried to place burdens on a divine feminine and a divine masculine. All right, somebody tried to place burdens. All right, because they didn't want a new beginning. They didn't want something to be balanced out between a star seed. But bitch, if you ever thought that you can come for a motherfucker like me, all right, a healer, all right, poverty in reverse, because you and your divinity ain't shit finna happen to you. All right, competition, challenges, significant judgment, emperor. All right, like I said, somebody's in inner conflict because something is not going their way. The way that these cards are flowing, a bitch could never. All right, intellectual pursuit, decision making. All right, somebody made a decision to go see a voodoo priest, and somebody also made a decision to get their ass total fuck up in the spiritual realm, because that's exactly what the fuck is happening. Somebody could be losing their life. Look at this shit. Somebody could be losing their life behind this shit. Oh well, good riddance. Get the fuck on. All right, we don't need nobody like you on this realm. All right, somebody wanted to abuse the messenger as well. All right, so whoever this person could have been getting some sort of advice from, all right, this person was doing spell work around everything around this masculine. When it comes to this masculine's friends, when it comes to this masculine's money, everything. All right, this person was causing conflict everywhere for this masculine. All right, and this person genuinely wanted to do better. All right, I'm hearing this person crying out to God. Somebody was crying out to God. Somebody cried out to God to get some sort of understanding of why their life was fucked up. And Spirit say, oh, bet, I'm going to give you a clear understanding. You ask for it, you shall fucking receive. All right? Somebody, the Spirit told somebody who they should let go of. All right? Who they should be cautioned for. All right? Somebody was trying to figure themselves out. Somebody was by. All right? Somebody was living a double life. All right? Somebody found out something about fate. Something is ending so something can begin. Fire sign is significant. Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. That could definitely be in your placements. All right, there's a commitment that's getting ready to happen. Yes, luck is on your side. All right, somebody is following their intuition. When it comes to a fire sign, a love spell. Somebody did a love spell to stop somebody from moving forward. This is a gold digger. This gold digger is bisexual. Okay, this woman is bisexual. She don't even want this man, but she don't want this man to have you. All right, so what's she doing? Placing challenges on this masculine. All right, water signs, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. This is a baby mother. All right, somebody doing intimacy spells. This is a narcissist. All right, a narcissist. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. All right, intuition. Your intuition is strong as fuck. All right, you're trusting your gut before your next move. All right, High Priestess is significant. All right, you're trusting yourself. Can't nobody fuck with you. All right, patience, slow growth. All right, for buds to bloom. So something's coming to the forefront. All right, I'm hearing you planted a seed and now something is coming to the surface. Somebody got anxiety about something, sleepless nights, overthinking. All right, somebody's overthinking what they did, or somebody's overthinking what it is that they got to do. All right, tough choices, indecision, and blocked emotions. All right, somebody is blocking somebody out. Somebody has made a tough decision to leave somebody behind. I'm hearing that this tough decision ain't seeming so tough. All right, calm, wise, emotionally balanced. All right, King of Bongs. All right, Ace of Buds. All right, new opportunity, abundance, and growing is here. All right. Standing your ground. All right, protecting your peace. All right, you're protecting whatever it is that you are growing at this time. Boredom. Somebody is bored. Somebody coming your way. Somebody bored as fuck. All right. Competition and petty arguments. Somebody don't want to have them no more. Ace of Bonds. Again, emotional renewal. All right. Love flows freely. Somebody feel like it's easy to love you. Logic, truth, leadership through clarity. All right. So somebody feels like you are a breath of fresh air compared to what the fuck they've been dealing with. Somebody been dealing with a whole motherfucking monster. All right, pushing upward. All right, pushing upward, slow growth. All right, it could have took somebody a long time to make something happen. All right, but somebody is in their deep emotions at this time. All right, somebody wants a long-term stability. All right, peace and harmony. Somebody wants long-term peace and harmony. Somebody don't want nothing temporary. All right, and everything seemed temporary to this person. The only thing that was everlasting was with you. All right, breaking barriers, healthy boundaries. You taught this person how to have um, boundaries. All right, because you had to place boundaries on this person. Before completion, new cycles are beginning. All right, careful steps. Somebody is taking careful steps coming towards you, but they are flowing with life. All right, contemplation, observe and reflect, biting through, cutting through obstacles, feeling trapped. All right, somebody could have been feeling trapped. Like I said, you got somebody coming towards you, an unexpected encounter. All right, this could be something that you didn't expect or something that you did expect. All right, I'm feeling like you just don't know when. All right, approach. There's some sort of opportunity coming. All right, somebody's coming towards you with an inner truth, deep intuition, and a hidden truth. All right, so somebody's coming to be honest and an inspired action. Somebody is being led to come tell you the truth. Somebody is being led to tell you the truth. Somebody's gonna come towards you and apologize. Somebody is coming toward. Rock, don't give me these cards. Well, let me just make sure ain't nothing fall on the floor. Hold on. Ah, damn. Go make sure they ain't fall on the floor. Just make sure. I think I dropped some. I don't know. Did I drop any on the floor? The one that fell on the floor was Midtown. Something's happening. Midtown. I heard detox. Somebody doing womb magic. They're finna get in a car accident. Somebody is hiding their karma. Somebody was doing some sort of fraud. All right. Somebody's looking for you. A white woman. Somebody that knew your grandmother. Somebody was paid to unalive you. All right. Midtown is significant. A white woman keeps coming out. Somebody signed their life away. Somebody paid for a practitioner. They just knew they was gonna get rid of your ass. A baby father is significant. Somebody paid a white woman to get rid of a baby father. Somebody was paid to be quiet. Somebody knows something. All right, this is a divine masculine's mother. All right, there's an old real estate agent here as well. All right, it's a whole operation. Leaving before you have to pay. All right, signing. Yeah, somebody signed something. Somebody signed some sort of contract. Somebody tried to tear you apart. Somebody crying because it's all over. All right, somebody was paid to do something to you. Divine intervention. A daughter is significant. Somebody was definitely using some kids to do a whole bunch of grimy ass shit. Them kids will suffer too. All right, somebody owes you. Somebody owes you. Somebody coming to bring you something. Somebody crying because their games is over. You done crushed somebody's fucking life. God is getting ready to show you your next move because this person loves only you. All right. Never letting go. This person is never letting you go. A great aunt is significant. So you got ancestors in the spiritual realm that do not play. All right, and this shit is happening now. All right, projecting. You got a lot of people projecting on you at this time. All right, because you got inheritance coming your way. All right, property, titles, genetic traits, they jealous. All right, why? Because you made a magic. All right, somebody want to sponsor your life. Something is happening in the woods. I heard that song, Into the Thick of It. Backyardigans is significant. All right, somebody loves only you. All right, there's a baby mother here doing something in the woods. Mason is significant. Mansion is significant. Somebody sees the truth about you. Yeah, they can't fuck with you. Somebody had your ass all the fuck wrong. All right, somebody tried to set you up. That shit ain't work. Pineapples is significant. All right, somebody had to call the police on somebody. A white man. What the fuck going on? A black woman. There's so many people involved. So many people involved. Somebody coming towards you with romance. Somebody just know they was around a whole bunch of fuck shit. All right, something is happening really fast to completely turn something around. All right, there's exciting times getting ready to come for you. All right, change overnight in West. All right, if you are interested in receiving a reading from me, my information is pinned in the comments. All right, you will get a video just like this one. All right, well, you can have it forever. All right, so if you are interested, please feel free to email me. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I love you guys, and I will see you later.